Hey everyone, this is Cooking with Brandy. Today we are going to be making some congee for lunch. It's going to be really simple, really quick here in the Instant Pot. For these videos, I elected to do them point of view style. I was inspired by Kenji's videos, and also I love the idea of just showing you how to do everything in real time. So we're going to start off with the Instant Pot here. We are just going to put some rice over in here. So we have some rice here. Alrighty. And you might be wondering why I'm electing to use the Instant Pot and this little hot plate here instead of the oven in the background. That oven has not worked in several years as I'm cooking in my parents' kitchen. Always weird cooking in someone else's kitchen. You don't know where anything is, how anything works, but I'm gonna do my best. So, all right, got our measuring cups here. I'm just gonna throw 1 cup of rice in here. And the reason I'm using the Instant Pot as well is that congee generally has to cook for a really long time. So instead of waiting for several hours, we're going to just use the pressure from the Instant Pot to cook it a lot quicker. Now I have seen some other methods as well, from the, I want to say, the Walks of Life. Those folks say that if you you freeze your rice, that then it breaks down easier. So the freezing forms crystals in the rice, which makes it break down easier. And then it'll cook in just an hour or so. But I'm going today with the method from the Omnivore's Cookbook, Maggie Shu, using the Instant Pot. So now I'm just gonna go in here in our fridge and look for our chicken broth. This thing's pretty crowded now because it has all of my stuff as well as my parents' stuff as well. I made this chicken stock using David Chang's poached chicken I don't know if I should even call it a recipe, really, more of a method, I guess. Basically, you poach a chicken. I also did it in the Instant Pot, actually. And then that yields a whole chicken that you can use in other recipes. Nice shredded cold chicken or chicken salad or something like that. And then as well as a chicken stock or broth. I don't really know what the correct term is. There we go. There's the other one. But yeah, this is some homemade broth we can use in whatever recipe we feel like. And I think, I want to say, I have another one in here somewhere, but I'm going to grab the Better Than Bouillon just in case we need a little bit more stock, because we're going to be putting a lot of broth in here. Normally, I go for about 6 cups in here. Oh, hey, Gilbert. Gilbert's decided to join us today. Hey, buddy. Of course, classic cat fashion, just standing in the least convenient place. So, yeah, I am going to go with, I want to say, more like 7 or 8 cups of broth rather than usual 6 that I do. I like a chicken stock that is, a congee, I should say, that is a little thicker as opposed to, I'm cooking this for my parents, so they're going to want something that is definitely more on the, should I say, the runnier side. I'm just going to bring this up here a little bit. Hopefully we can look in the pot here a little bit. So again, we're taking the 1 cup here. Normally, if we were in my kitchen, I would go with my 4 cup Pyrex. That would be probably a little quicker. I also don't really skim my chicken stock. You can see all this fat on here. That's going to give us a really nice texture. And also, with congee, you sort of want to be doing this sort of interplay of like the sort of oil and water thing, them not really mixing. You want to sort of have your congee and then have oily toppings on top. So then when you dip your congee, when you dip your tiao into the congee, which I'll get to later, then it's going to sort of coat the tiao first. You're gonna have the congee on the outside. It's gonna be really delicious. So here we can say this stock is really, really jiggly here, which is what we want. There's 1 cup. This is barely even gonna give us 2, it seems like. I might have to get a spoon and really reach in there. It's pretty stuck to the sides. Yeah, so tiao is the star of the show when it comes to congee. This is the fried breadstick. And who doesn't like fried dough, really, right? Every culture has their own fried dough. Every culture has a donut. Every culture has a sandwich. And stuff like that. So for Chinese culture, the tiao, I think, is really the star of the show for the congee, for me at least. Because we don't really have a lot of, fried dough sort of stuff. So I really relish the chance to get to eat it. So 2, there we go. So it looks like we'll maybe get up to 7 cups here. Might need to go for the better than bouillon for an 8th cup, but we'll see. We'll see how we're feeling. We'll see how we're doing. Again, I'm just gonna, this fat's already loosened up actually. So there we go. Cup number 3. And cup number 4 is gonna have all of this fat in there as well, but I gotta loosen up. I might need to get in there with a spoon as well, actually. There we go. 4 cups. And 5, 6, 7, hopefully. There we go. That's 5 and a bit. 6-ish. And honestly, at this point, I'm thinking that this stock is actually quite salty. Because when you're making this recipe, you are adding a fair bit of salt in here as well. So I think I might just add a cup of water. And that, for the more traditional palate, is going to cool things down a little bit. I definitely know some folks just make the congee with just with water. I like it with the chicken broth. I think it adds really nice flavor. So we're just gonna get a cup of water here and just sort of cool that flavor down a little bit. There we go. And walk all the way back, trying not to spill this. Boom. So now we have everything up in here. All this chicken broth looks kind of gnarly. We are going to just set this now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go for the 8th cup. This chicken broth, it looks pretty full of collagen, so I think it's gonna be pretty thick. Even when it cools down, and we're gonna lose some water as well. So, I mean, later we can add more water as well, but I'm just going to start off with a little bit more, just because it seems like the right thing to do. So now, here we go. We're going to set our Instant Pot here to pressure. We're going to go high pressure, and we're going to go up to half an hour as well. Half an hour there. So we're going to set that. It's gonna just do its thing. There we go. And it's gonna heat up. It's gonna, pressurize and all that stuff. Make sure that our valve's good. And yeah. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go over to this hot plate here. We're gonna stir fry some greens. We're going to add some Chinese sausage as well. So let's go grab those. Maybe rinse off the hands a little first and make sure this thing isn't drooping too much. So yeah, the greens we're going to be using, I think We've got bok choy in the fridge. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Some bok choy here. And I think that's pretty much all we're gonna want from here. I don't think we have green onions or anything. Oh, spoke too soon. Green onions, those are gonna be for topping. And I'm also gonna take out from here the Chinese sausage that I talked about earlier. So, if you're making this with chicken, you can add the chicken in to the congee as well. In the original recipe, Maggie has chicken breasts that are actually cooking in the congee as well. I think that's really great. But for something like this, the Chinese sausage here, this stuff is at its best when it's fried. If you add it into something that's going to be boiled like this, it's going to turn really dull, and instead of crisping up with all the fat that it has in it, it's just going to be kind of loose and gummy, not really super pleasant. So we're going to fry it up with these greens as well, which will also give them a nice flavor, I think. So we're actually maybe going to use all of these. I like to put a lot of vegetables in my congee. Makes it sort of healthier, obviously, and you know, it is a good way of using up vegetables, I would say. Okay, just gonna get a little strainer here. Yeah, good way of using up vegetables. Adds flavor, adds texture, which I think is important as well. The congee has this sort of like, you know, a porridgey sort of texture, which people can find off-putting sometimes. I think it's really nice. And with these, whenever you buy Chinese, and whenever you buy greens at the Chinese market, you may need to wash them a little bit more than greens you otherwise use. With these, especially for something like this, where I'm going to be chopping this up and you know, slicing it and dicing it anyway, we can just peel these leaves off, because there could be a lot of dirt that hides like on the inside here. These actually look pretty clean, so I'm not going to take too much care with them, and I am just going to sort of quickly snap these off into pieces. I'm going to get rid of this big bulb at the end as well, generally, because we want this to be nice and leafy. We want it to be soft. But again, we're not cooking it in the actual congee broth, because I think the cooking time is just a little bit too much. We want these to get soft and pleasant, but we want them to still have a little bit of crunch as well. We don't want them to like totally soften up and you know, just totally wilt. So we're gonna cook the congee. We're going to stir fry these, and then we're gonna mix them into the congee a little bit. Maybe we'll see. We'll see how soft we can get these, honestly. So yeah, this is a ton of greens. I actually don't know if this is all gonna fit into my pan, but these will reduce in size as well once we cook them. Well, a little bit. I guess it's bok choy. It's not like pea shoots or anything. Anyway, so that should be good. I want to sort of drain these out, and then I'll get to slicing them. So yeah, these leaves are pretty big. So I think I'm actually going to slice these up as well, instead of just tearing them up here. So got some good drainage going there. Put them over here. Dry our hands off. Okay. Grab a knife here. Knife selection here. Oh, there we go. Nice one here. Okay. So maybe I'll get a plate as well. Just put those on once we're done with them. Okay. So yeah, basically we're just going to take this this bok choy here, and I mean, yeah, I think we're probably just going to cut it into strips here, just something like that. Just nothing too crazy, but we also don't want them to be too small. This might be a little bit small. We might want something more like this, honestly. Let's give it another try on another leaf here. Maybe if we just cut this in half here, then we have something that's like a nice little size that'll sort of cook up pretty quickly. So, and this will actually make this process a little faster too, as well. Because as you can see, we've got a lot of leaves. I don't know if I'll even bother with these little things. We might just go for the big leaves here instead. And little leaves like this, those are fine. Just gonna toss those over into our plate here. I definitely was a bit careless with some of these, and as you can see, a little bit of dirt on some of those, but I won't tell anyone. That's fine. If it's mostly leaf, you know, it's mostly this big white part of the stem that we're looking to make a little bit smaller here with this chop. But if it's really leafy and stuff like that, we don't need to worry about it too much. And we also don't really need to worry too much about the prettiness of these leaves either, because they're getting cooked into this, they're getting stir fried and then cooked into this congee. So really, they're gonna be going through a lot. So don't need to worry about that. Got these bulbs. These, I'm just gonna try to grab most of these if I can. And then, yeah, we're going to be sauteing the sausage. We're going to be throwing these in with the sausage, and then we're going to be throwing that in with the congee. So after that, we are also going to be heating up the tiao in the oven. I've got frozen tiao here, so we're going to be just crisping those up. I'm not going to be making those from scratch. That sounds like way too much work. But then we're also going to be adding a lot of toppings to our congee. Now, I know I said that tiao is my favorite part about congee, but really, it's about the toppings. It's about adding stuff onto it. I feel like a lot of Chinese food is not super customizable. You know, you can put a little bit of hoisin, you can put sriracha, chili sauce, chili oil. You know, I guess that's a fair bit of customization, but really, congee is the true choose your own adventure of Chinese food. It's a blank canvas, right? It's just a rice porridge with broth, sometimes not even, and you can add pretty much anything you want into it. You know, you can add 1,000-year egg, you can add just soy sauce, you can add veggies, meat, you can add chili crisp, you can add sesame oil, you can add green onions. Anything that you could use to garnish, really anything in this cuisine is fair game. So go crazy. I also think it's fun to sort of do the same thing that people do with other sort of bland, or, you know, not bland, but other dishes that are sort of like blank canvases too, and add in some flavors from some other cuisines as well. So I've done a braised ribeye congee. I've done a pulled pork congee. I have done a roast chicken congee. Really, just you can use whatever you have in your fridge as well to really make this shine. I just so happen to have these Chinese sausages, but other stuff we have in the fridge, like I think I saw like one hamburger in there. I also saw, well, let's take a look actually. I saw one hamburger, so any kind of meat like that, yeah, there it is, that you can throw in there. Sauces, we have chili crisp, we have hot sauce, we have Chinese vinegar, we have all sorts of stuff, so we'll get into that. But yeah, anyway, this is great for using up, this is an amazing dish for using up leftovers in general. So now we've got this big old plate of greens here. I'm just gonna chop up some sausage. We'll start heating this up actually. It's a little wet for this. We're gonna heat this to like medium heat. And yeah, get going on chopping this sausage. Nice thing about this, if you've never used it before, this is Chinese sausage, Kam Yen Jan brand, classic. These are made with pork, and honestly, God knows what else. But these are really versatile. You can use them in all sorts of stuff. I think my first introduction to this was my mom bought me a lunch from TNT that was like a Vietnamese lunch, like a boon, like with vermicelli noodles, a spring roll, and this like not even cooked. Like it was just like this, and that was kind of interesting. I really liked it. This stuff is a lot like Chinese barbecue pork, if you've ever had that. It's really sort of sweet and salty, very fatty. So frying it up like this is really, really nice. And cutting it on this angle here just gives you sort of that like more restaurant-y sort of presentation. But you can just cut it like little pepperoni as well. That's also fine. But yeah, I think this is gonna make it look really nice with the rest of the dish as well. So let's just see, try throwing in a little one here. Oh yeah. There we go. We'll throw these in here. We're gonna try to get this a little crisped up and render some of the fat out, and then we're gonna add the greens in. I'm just gonna get a spoon here as well. So there we are. Chop one more of these. So yeah, I think this Chinese sausage gonna give a really nice flavor, sort of traditional flavor to this dish. The fat is going to give a nice flavor to these greens as well. And then we're gonna be golden. And this, we can turn this up a little bit as well. And you're gonna see when these sausages get cooked a little more, they totally transform. So yeah, these are kind of like hot dogs in the sense that these are cured, so you can just eat them right out of the pack. Although, similar to a hot dog as well, wouldn't necessarily recommend it. You can cook it in something much, much tastier, like this. So I'm wondering if we should add any seasoning into this, like maybe some cooking wine or something like that. That could help give it a nice flavor as well. But again, we don't want to make this stuff too salty, like the congee, because we're going to be adding so much stuff onto it. So I'm also wondering if we have enough meat here. So this is 3 sausages here. I have 2 more. Let's try doing one more. I mean, I only have 2 left, so what's the point of leaving one behind? But let's see what one more in there looks like, and then we'll decide on whether the last one is making it out of here alive. Yeah, so these are also great in stir fries as well. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. This is great. And as you can see, these are starting to really crisp up and sort of caramelize here as well. So I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Yeah, crisping, caramelizing, looking beautiful. Yeah, great in stir fries. Also, really good in buns. You can do the Chinese hot dog bun with this instead of the hot dog is really, really good stuff. I've even roasted them over the campfire. That's really interesting. But with that, you just have to make sure that you're careful. You gotta rest them because unlike a hot dog, these are much, much juicier, right? So they're going to really release a lot of, or there's all this oil, right? We can see this fat that's rendering out. And these are just going to, all the fat is going to melt, and then, but it's not going to release because this casing is pretty hard. So what's going to happen then, if you roast it on the campfire and you take a bite, is A, you're going to burn yourself, B, it's going to be a hazard for anyone else around you because all this hot oil is going to be spurting out. And I actually almost, I had a friend of mine that was bald actually, and it missed his scalp by, I'm going to say like 2 inches. So be very, very, very careful if you're trying that. So now we're going to get these veggies in here. I'm just going to throw these on kind of like wholesale. We're also going to hope that, so yeah, you're going to get some spitting. These have like, you know, some water on them. We're going to hope that they reduce, and to sort of help that sort of process, I'm going to get some salt and add them here. Honestly, should have used a bigger pan, but hey, we live, we learn, what can you do? Just grabbing some salt from over here. This is sea salt, I guess. Just a pinch here. Now I know I said that we don't want this to be too salty, but this salt is not for the purposes of adding flavor. This salt is added for the purpose of drawing out moisture from these greens. And drawing out moisture from the greens is going to also help them become smaller as well in this pan. And now we just need to get them exposed to the oil. So, because there's so many in the pan, we're going to just really, really gently sort of try to turn them over here. And I'm considering maybe even turning the heat down a little more. But since we're introducing water into here as well, that's going to prevent these sausages from burning as well. So I don't think we really need to worry about it too much. You can already see some wilt happening here. So let's just let it hang out and see what happens. Now, as for the cooking wine, I think if we do want to add that, we're going to do that just like a little bit later. Just to sort of get more of like a glaze effect going on, instead of having them really cook in the cooking wine. So there we go. These are sort of starting to get a little covered with the oil from the sausages. The sausages still looking nice and browned as well. You definitely could take the sausages out, you know, if you're worried about them softening up too much, but we're going to be cooking this for a little bit, so yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I am going to go take a look and see if we actually have cooking wine, though, if we want to add it later. If not, we'll just go for soy sauce. They do really similar things in terms of, you know, being sort of pre-made, fermented liquid that adds flavor. And the cooking wine, when you're cooking it on something like this, you're cooking off all of the alcohol, so don't worry about that. We do have some soy sauce over here. But yeah, cooking wine, I think I ran out, and I don't know if my parents actually keep it on hand, so let's just go with soy sauce for now. And we'll be really light with it. This is just like your regular Rooster soy sauce, nothing too fancy. I also realized recently that you don't need to keep soy sauce in the fridge, but I mean, we do, I guess. Although, honestly, I sort of keep everything in the fridge. I definitely keep a lot of stuff in the fridge that I know that you don't need to keep in the fridge. But it's just sort of force of habit, you know? And if you have the room in there, why not? I mean, it's debatable whether we do, because you saw how full that thing was, but what can you do? So yeah, these are starting to reduce here really, really nicely. I'm just gonna keep cooking them down a little bit more. We're gonna give them a little taste pretty soon. And yeah, then we'll sort of see what their flavor level is like. Hopefully they're not too salty, because again, the Chinese sausage here is actually going to add flavor as well, since we're cooking into the fat and everything. We added that salt. I don't think it'll be super noticeable, but if it is, well, I mean, at this point there isn't too much we can do about it, but we can adjust the congee itself later on. We can add more water, and yeah. Speaking of the congee, one thing I don't love about the Instant Pot, especially when you have like a ton of liquid in here, it's going to take a while to heat up and actually create that pressure. So, you know, it's been a little while already and we're still waiting for it to actually achieve pressure. So this is one of those recipes that really seems super quick, but it's going to take a little bit longer than you might think. Oh. And just as I talk shit about the Instant Pot, it's reached pressure, so in half an hour from now, we'll be laughing. This bok choy here is pretty much good to go. I'm just going to give it a little taste. And then we'll see if it's ready. That's great. Turn off the heat. Nice crunch level. You can see still a good amount of oil in here as well. That's going to be really nice for the congee. And these Chinese sausages are still looking nice. They got the nice browning. We're turning this off for now. I'm going to reheat it on here as well, right before we put it on the congee, just to get it nice and hot, and to crisp these up a little bit. Like this one here, you can see a little bit of that effect I was talking about earlier, that sort of bloating. So hopefully we can re-crisp those a little bit, sort of like a double fry sort of thing. Then we can throw them into the congee, or even if we really, really care about crispiness, just top it on the congee, or mix it in the bowl right before, and then we're going to throw in all our toppings. So we're gonna wait and return once the congee is fully cooked. All right, so here we are. We got 8 minutes cook time left on the Instant Pot, so it's time for us to do a couple things. It's time for us to reheat this stuff, just give it a little crisping up again. So let's get it going pretty high, actually, just to get it really crispy. And then we're also going to go and we're going to broil our tiao. So tiao are the Chinese fritters, Chinese donuts, and instead of baking these in the oven, just overall, I'm just gonna broil them one side at a time. I think it's a lot quicker. It's gonna get them crispier, but you do really need to watch them. So we're gonna hope that we get lucky today and that we don't burn anything. So we got a big bag of them down here. And I can hear our stir fry over there crisping up once again. Oh yeah. We're just gonna let it do its thing, honestly. I think 8 is as high as this goes. Yeah, so we'll let it just get nice and crispy. And then we're gonna take these and we're gonna lay them out. So, here we are. They look something like this. They're like a big breadstick, basically. I'm gonna do maybe 2 of these. Got a lot of water on that one. Because I don't know if my mom will actually eat one of these. So let's try to take that off. There we go. And we're gonna stick it under the broiler. And we're gonna keep a very, very close eye on it as well. So There we go. I have to aim that up a little more. All right. So, I'm actually wondering now if this stir fry really needs this much time, you know? Because we're just trying to get it crisped up, or the sausage crisped up anyway. So probably not, but it's okay if it's sitting for a little bit, because it is going to be mixed into the congee. And here we go. We can see some sort of color coming back into those sausages, so that's really what's important here. You can also see I've changed things around a little bit, done a bit of cleaning up. I have also cut up some green onions here, and we've also got a bunch of very nice sauces and other things that we can add to our congee, and we'll go through those very shortly. Obviously, soy sauce over here, classic, OG, makes everything better. But let's talk more about that effect I was describing earlier with the separation of oil and water. So soy sauce is going to mix into the congee. And I guess most of this stuff, because the congee is so thick, most of this stuff is going to mix into it if you like stir it, you know. It's going to emulsify with the really, really thick, you know, consistency of the congee. But again, these are toppings. They're not mix-ins. So you've got a thick porridge base and you're adding things to the top. So the soy sauce is going to stay on top, but not as much as, say, the chili crisp and its associated chili oil. Which reminds me, one thing I don't have here is sesame oil. So we're just gonna grab this here. We just got a little bit left, should be just enough. But actually I am gonna mix some of this in, so I did see something really nice back here. This is right behind here. So this pure black sesame oil, that's pretty fancy. So I'm gonna treat this like liquid gold here, and maybe just add a tiny little bit to the top of my congee. So this now we can see, oh, some of these are starting to burn actually, so I'm gonna take this off. There we go. That's as much cook on that as we want. So I'm not gonna worry too much, but maybe a tiny bit of overcooking here. Still gonna be good, but yeah, we see some of these bok choy starting to sort of fall apart here. That is not what we want, but we've got a nice color, nice caramelization on the sausage, so I will take it. Now we've got just a few minutes left on this congee here, which gives us some time to go through these toppings. We're gonna scoop with this big ass metal ladle. Imagine donking someone on the head with this. They never recover. So we have obviously soy sauce we mentioned before. This is just a cheap Rooster soy sauce that I bought because I'm cheap. There are obviously many different types of soy sauce out there. You got your light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, and all that. So I am not a connoisseur. I just go with whatever's cheapest. I prefer to diversify in terms of other stuff out there, such as chili crisp. Chili crisp really having a moment. People are putting this in everything, but in congee, amazing. You got the oil on the top. So really, I'm probably going to do sesame oil, chili crisp, soy sauce, and maybe that's it. I know I have a bunch of other stuff out here, but those are the flavors that I really like. Speaking of burning things, I'm going to go back over here to the tiao here, see how it's going. Oh yeah, so this is why we keep a close eye on this. Thankfully we have more in this bag here, so I'm going to start over. I'm not even going to worry about these, but I am just going to hang out by the oven and talk about those toppings rather than just totally ignore this. I hope our fire alarm's not going to go off. Get our fan going. All right, there we go. So, really, this is a big part of why I wanted to do the videos like this. This point of view here, and more or less, you know, in real time. Obviously, not including you guys waiting around while I like wash dishes and stuff. But this is the real stuff here. This is the real deal. This is what cooking is like. We fuck up, but also generally we make stuff that's pretty tasty. So let's just grab these. They're not going to be hot on the bottom, so I'll put them over here. You know what? Maybe we could salvage these. Maybe. But if we have extra tiao, we should really just go for that. These have thawed a little, so they'll actually come apart now. And we're just going to start over. I could also go down to a low broil as well, but I think really I'm just gonna hang out here, talk to you, and we're gonna check this every like 2 seconds, basically. Get some more of that smoke out of there. That sound means that the congee is done. So normally you would sort of let the congee have like a bit of a natural release. With the Instant Pot, I'm probably going to not do that because it's probably cooked already, and also I'm going to be mixing in some things like that sesame oil as well. So it's going to be cooking for a little bit longer on there. We're going to be adjusting, seeing how much of the actual water we need to add, consistency, and all that sort of stuff. Other thing that's important to remember, also, every broiler is different. This one seems to be going pretty fast, so that's good. It's also a little awkward. I mean, I do love to sort of peek into the oven every 5 seconds, but it's a little difficult wearing this harness here. So anyway, let's talk toppings. Let's get back to it. We were talking about chili crisp, sesame oil, of course. If you like it spicy, sriracha. I don't know where my parents found this real bottle of sriracha. This is worth like $3,000. Sambal alek, also worth a lot of money. She got it for $2.99. Jesus Christ. We've also got pickles. My dad's got these preserved bamboo shoots with chili in here. These are great, but really, really smelly. And we've also got kimchi as well. Now, kimchi, obviously, not Chinese, not super traditional in, you know, any sort of sense for this dish. But again, this is about just adding in things that you think are tasty and that you like. We've also got some pickled radish and carrot here. I'm not so sure about it. I'm just putting it out here in case anyone wants it. And then other things, we've got some vinegar, some black vinegar, as well as a bunch of herbs. If you're an old person or if you're Vietnamese, you'll probably want to put herbs in this. Myself, I'll probably pass on those because I want this to be a bit more of a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a hearty sort of dish, I guess. So it looks like we got some burn on this as well, so I'm gonna bring this down to a low broil, and we're gonna flip these over. Despite this burning, doesn't make me love the broiler any less. Ask any of my friends and they will tell you I will broil. I need to push it in a little more. I will broil anything under the sun, basically. It's my favorite, I was gonna say kitchen appliance, I guess it's just the oven, but it's one of my favorite techniques, I guess, in the kitchen. It's so immediate. It provides a lot of heat directly onto something, which is, in a home kitchen such as this, there aren't a lot of different ways of doing that. Your stovetop is only going to get so hot, and unless you have, like, I don't know, a blowtorch or something like that, there aren't a lot of ways to really get a crazy amount of heat onto something really quickly. So I'm gonna see if I can scrape off one of these. Let's see. I mean, hey, it's got a nice crisp level to it. So let's go over to the garbage can over here. If you I think everyone's done one of these before. A little scrapey scrape. I'll probably have to clean this garbage can later too, but hey, this is real life here. This is home cooking, and we are making do with what we got. So thankfully, yeah, we have those other two, which I'm gonna try not to neglect too much because I don't want to be scraping this off and then burn others because of them. But that's still pretty bad. All right, so let's take a look at these. Yeah, they're going. Okay, that low broil seems a lot better than the high. You know what? I'm gonna try tasting one of these. Why not? Just give it a little, I'll give it a try. So here, let's look at it from this way. So you'll see these, this is actually 2 sticks and you can pull them apart like this. So really it'll be one really long fritter when you've got it. And you're gonna be dunking it into your porridge like that. So this one looks pretty okay. Give it a little taste. Nice crunch, but yeah, that burnt flavor, can't really get away from it. Especially in something so mild like these. Like, it's supposed to take on the flavor, like all the flavor of the congee. And here, it's just taking on the flavor of being burnt, obviously. All right, so we got a minute or two before we're gonna take those out, so let's just release this guy here. So we've got 5 minutes on here. What I like to do, especially for stuff like this that's got a lot of liquid, I'm just gonna hold this paper towel over the vent while it's releasing, and hopefully that's gonna catch anything that's gonna come up, you know, any water or anything like that, and it'll shield it from me as well if we're being impatient and we don't want to wait for longer. So let's do it. And obviously, be careful, you know, don't put your hand over this steam here, but it seems good to me. It's just steam. There's no chunks of anything in there. After all, it is just rice, so that's doing its thing. We're gonna let that go. We're gonna check the oven again. They're cooking, they're looking good. They could probably use like 1 more minute, maybe 30 seconds or something like that. And yeah, this has like a lot of water in it, so it's taking quite a while to totally depressurize and let all that steam out. And also, one of the nice side effects of that is we've got a nice chicken brothy aroma sort of filling the room here at the same time as that's happening. So this is what they're supposed to look like here. We've got a nice sort of re-crisped, again, sort of like double fried sort of thing going on here with this side. The other side, this one's fine. This one, I might need to do another little bit of scraping there as well. But yeah, I would say these are pretty much done. So I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna just scrape off a tiny little bit. Sucks because it's, you know, it is the crispy bit. And, you know, I'll do a classic, like, oh, I'll eat this one kind of thing. Because this other one here looks pretty nice. Shake off any bits of that, that's fine. So, tiao, ready to go. We have succeeded in not burning the kitchen down. We've got the release here almost done. We gotta wait for this pin to drop on the bottom here, or on the top here, over here, and then we can finally open it up, see what's going on in there. So a couple things we are going to add in. Well, I'm gonna taste one of these first. Oh yeah, that's a nice texture on there. Very satisfying. So pin dropped here. We can open it up. We got to add a couple things. I'm adding sesame oil, and I was actually supposed to probably do this earlier. Gonna add some ginger in here. You can add a lot of different things to your actual rice at the start to sort of give it some flavor. Again, nothing that's adding too much salt, but you can do ginger. You can grate your own ginger. I've just got the powder here, but you can also add like lime leaves if you're gonna take those out later. Something like that that's just sort of adding more fragrance. So a little bit of ginger for me, I think is gonna be good. So I'm gonna open this up and we can see, here, I'll adjust my camera a little bit. We can see we've got a nice bubbling pot here of congee. So we'll give it a nice stir. And really I should not be using this metal ladle in this metal pot here, but anyway, it's looking pretty thin, which is what we wanted. But I might put this back on the saute function just to get a little bit of the texture down, and then also to sort of heat up the other elements that we're putting in here. But as you can see, the rice grains are very, very broken down. They probably could be broken down a little bit more. Honestly, if I had cooked this or for a little bit longer, or if I had left it for the release a little bit longer, could have done that a little bit. But putting this on the saute function, it's going to do the same thing. So we're going to go saute, and we're going to go more. We're going to let it heat up, do its thing, and add these other things in. So let's go over here, get these on a plate. My goodness, such a shame. Alrighty, note to self. On this oven, low broil only. I'm gonna flip this over so it looks nice and pretty though. And then this one, oh, beautiful, perfect. So we can hear the Instant Pot starting to bubble a little bit. Maybe a lot, actually. And yeah, that's gonna start cooking off some of that liquid, breaking this down a little bit more. But first things first, I gotta give this a little love. We're adding in ginger powder. Kind of hard to add too much to this. This is something that's gonna be pretty, it's gonna benefit a lot from the ginger. So this is maybe like a teaspoon, 3/4 teaspoon sort of thing here. Just gonna mix that in. And this bubbling hopefully is going to help us not get any clumps, as well as a little bit of a vigorous stir here. Let's get some motion in there. And then also sesame oil. This is going to give really nice fragrance. That's probably too much. I added maybe, that's probably like a half tablespoon or so. But it's going to make this just like a little bit silkier because we are stirring it in, we are emulsifying it. So we are going to sort of be adding more oil and stuff on top later, but yeah. So now we can see the texture's changed a little bit from what it was earlier. It's definitely like thicker, which is more the consistency we sort of want for a congee. And I'm saying that's pretty much there. That's basically what we want. I'm like, is that? Yeah, I do see some of the ginger clumping up here, so I'll just try to stir it a little bit more. But yeah, this is a nice consistency that I like, that I think it's not going to be too thin. We could just add a little bit more water as well if we really wanted. You know, I think I am going to do that. So I'll just add this tiny little, I'll fill this tiny little cup back up. And I'm just going to add some water to taste just to get it a little bit less thick. Again, this is all personal preference, right? It's all about what you want. And also what the people you're cooking for want, right? So this is not too different, but it's falling off the spoon a little bit easier. And that's what I want. So that was about half of that little cup. There's like maybe like a quarter cup of water or so. So now putting everything together, we are going to take this stir fry and we're going to throw it into the congee here. Here we are. You're going to throw it in here. And if you're like me, you're going to make sure that we get all the oil as well that rendered off of those sausages. Because remember, we didn't put any oil in here. This is just all from the sausage. So it's all natural oils and all the good stuff that we want. So we're going to mix that into here as well, just to give it some veggies, some meat, all good things. And now we're pretty much ready to serve. So here, I'm going to show you the kind of bowl that I would make for myself. And of course, we got to get your classic Chinese spoon here for the congee. If you don't have these, I guess you can eat it with a regular spoon, but like, this is really what you want. This is what you want. So we got our bowl. We are going to go for one big scoop for me. Yeah, 2 scoops. Fill your bowl up, don't be shy. All right. So we have our bowl of congee here now. Beautiful. What am I gonna add? Chili crisp, soy sauce, tiny bit of sesame oil, and green onion. So I guess thinner stuff first. So actually, you know what? Sesame oil first. This stuff, I'm like, is this stuff even open? It is, all right. Again, looks very expensive. Just a little drizzle here. And like I mentioned, that stuff's not going anywhere. That is frozen in time on the top here. A little bit of soy sauce. Again, a drizzle. Chili crisp, I'm probably gonna go for a fairly generous portion of this stuff because I love it. And I think it's really, really good on here. And then the green onion. There you have it. Beautiful bowl of congee in, I suppose, about an hour. And we are going to take some of this tiao as well. Probably the burnt one, I guess. I'm just going to take off a piece here and show you what this is all about. You're going to dip just like this. And there you go. You can see you've got the chili oil on it as well as the congee, and it's all coating it. And of course, it tastes amazing. Let me know if you make this. Put whatever you want in terms of toppings. Have fun with it. And yeah, I'll see you later.